Ndị be anyị keneni m unu, asị m ka ọ dịrị anyị na mma, anyị si ka nke onye chiri ya zelu. Dịka o si dị, anyị agbapụna ya ọsọ ka anyị gosi unu ya bụ ife anyị ji maka ya wee bịa n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị na-akpọ ya journalist hangout, ya bụ international discussion. Ife anyị niile ịma ka m nwetara unu na ọ bụ na ịbụ onye Igbo ị na-anụ ọnụ m gee ya bụ ihe anyị ji maka ya wee bịa n'iru akwụkwọ. Ị ga-esi ya jụọ pụrụ ife iche n'ụdị nke gị gbasịta maka ihe ndị a niile nụrụ akwụrụ n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa. All right, over to you, sir.
Let's move straight to our next conversation. The extradition of Simon Ekpa is still very much in progress. The federal government has submitted most of the requirements to fast-track the process. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, expressed hope that the government of Finland will do the right thing to expedite the process. Biko, in your opinion, is the federal government doing all it can to make sure that Simon Ekpa faces justice?
No, they are. The federal government is doing its best, but whether it will be extradited to Nigeria is what we do not know. You know, extradition trials are by nature very tricky. It can last for years. At the end of the day, you may not even achieve your aim. And that's why, especially where the accused person has the citizenship of Finland. They may want to try him using the laws of their own country rather than sending him here. Some of the negative stories about our country, they in fact work against this extradition, because I constantly accusing the judiciary of not being up to it, of being corrupt. You are saying that the justice system in our country does not always favor people who are up against the government, or does not always favor activists and all that. So he is accused of propagation of terrorism-related rhetorics and all that. So, which is a crime in their own country, in Finland. So it all depends on how Nigeria pushes aggressively the case for his trial. Otherwise, remember the case of Ibori now. Ibori was put, the EFCC had a case against Ibori. Ibori was deemed not to have committed an offense. And the same document, the same facts that the justice system here didn't use to convict him were used to convict him in the UK. They not only jailed him, they jailed his wife, they jailed girlfriend, they jailed lawyer.
His lawyer too.
So what are we talking about? It's I know that Ekpa'S lawyers are going to argue that I will not get justice in Nigeria. And some of the things that Nigerians write about our judicial system may actually work against us.
But this is a matter of terrorism. Nigeria is signatory to Rome Statute.
Yes,
Finland is.
Yes,
why should he not be?
I'm awful. Why I'm awful is this. I agree with him absolutely that because of the way our judiciary is perceived, it may be very, very difficult. Because, you know, European governments do not joke with human rights. If they believe that the person being accused will not get justice or fair justice, they will believe that it is not fair to extradite the guy to your country. But what I'm hopeful is that already he has been detained in Finland and been tried there. So that shows that they do not agree with the things he was doing.
Okay.
And there are enough evidence to show that he engaged in act of terrorism. I know all over the world, governments do not joke with terrorism.
Sure.
That is the only thing that can work for us. So that's why I'm hopeful, because people like Ekpa should be made to account for all the nonsense that he did. You cannot stay in another country and wage war against your country and incite people against your country, and you think that
he's making money off
all this nonsense, and you think he can get away with it. He must be brought to account. He must pay for all the nonsense he did. So I'm hopeful that it will be but even if it's not,
justice will be served.
Yeah, justice will be served. People in Finland, because already is in prison and he has been denied bail. So justice will be served.
And they've established that they were actually using the group to make money. Some guys who are working with him, mobilizing money, and the guys of
from everybody.
Yes, in the guise of freedom fighting, they've been arrested. So it's not the only person who has been arrested. So I think that they have a good hang on the matter, and somehow justice will be served and seen to have been served. But whether they will extradite him to Nigeria, only a proper extradition trial will determine that.
But another thing, before we go to our Zoom guest, will the arrest and possible extradition of Simon Ekpa bring peace to the Southeast?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because you know that Simon Ekpa himself is a faction. They call people in IPOB.
Yes.
Do not really agree with him.
Yes.
He's just somebody that, because of incarceration of Kanu, he played on that. He played on that vacuum. He occupied it and was using it for himself. Even when when he will give order that people should not come out on a particular day, IPOB will say no, they are not part of that.
Yes.
And he kept getting away with it. So that will not solve all the problems, because the issue.
He doesn't even believe in Nnamdi Kanu anymore.
Yes, anymore. Yes.
Because there was a time I did issues with Jide.
Yes.
I was saying that look, the people still respect Nnamdi Kanu more than him. He launched into tirade, was attacking me because I said in the Southeast the people still see Nnamdi Kanu more as a hero than himself. So he started attacking me. So to him now, Nnamdi Kanu does not amount to anything. He's just doing what he's doing, believing that okay, he has replaced Nnamdi
Kanu in the struggle.
But
so what will now bring peace to the South? The release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu?
nobody can guarantee that the release will put an end to this agitation. I think that over time, cultists never do well. So all kinds of people have hijacked the struggle, and that's why an Nnamdi Kanu will sign that there is no seat at home anymore.
Yes.
He used his own hand. He wrote it when Senator Ifeanyi Ubah and Eze Chukwemekari of Enugu Aguleri went to see him in detention. He said, okay, from now, in the past, they said, okay, only when it's brought to court.
Okay.
Yes, we'll be sit at home. Later, they went to her and said, this thing is destroying the economy of the Southeast. I think Senator Abaribe also joined them.
Okay.
And he agreed. In his own hand, he said, no more sit at home at any time. Yet, Simon Ekpa, who did not institute it in the first place, so this was instituted by IPOB. Simon Ekpa continued to do sit at home. So it's like, as far as he's concerned, it has nothing to do with IPOB. And that was why IPOB disowned him.
Yeah, he's not powerful.
They said, no, we do not approve of his actions.
Exactly.
So we will see what happens. I know that Kanu's release will definitely reduce.
Yeah, go a long way in doing that.
To put an end to it, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Still talking about it, I think we're having issues with our Zoom guest. But the issue of the matter of extradition, can the extradition process work? Can Nigeria actually satisfy that process? Another question is the fact that Nigeria does not have extradition treaty with Finland.
That is the main problem. That is not, it's not whether it can be extradited or not. The problem basically is that we don't have a treaty.
The treaty.
So they are not under any obligation, legal obligation to extradite him, because we don't have a treaty. That is the main problem. Not that, because we have enough evidence.
But we have bilateral relationship with them.
Yeah, but yes.
Is that not a
no? Bilateral relationship is different. Having extradition agreement is different.
Countries going to
It's different.
Such deals to exchange prisoners,
Yes.
to exchange detainees and all that. If, for example, between us, the UK and UAE, for example, they have it, and that was why it was easy to send.
Yeah.
It was easy to send
Ibori
to that place. So Nigeria, I remember that we actually signed during the Buhari regime. We got into that deal with the UAE, and you've seen that the UAE even helped us to arrest some sponsors
of Boko Haram. Yes, exactly.
So
I remember.
now, so it is really of value when countries get into this kind of agreement. We say, okay, we will exchange prisoners, we'll share information about insecurity and all that. We will exchange detainees, you know, as the case may be. It's really of value. If that had been the case, someone will know that he will, by now maybe it will even be in Nigeria.
No, of course, by now, yeah.
I was thinking maybe there would be some, since there is a matter of terrorism here.
What I'm saying, there's a difference between almost all countries have relationship with each other.
Exactly.
It's different from when you have a bilateral agreement, because that bilateral made it binding on you to do that. Now, because you don't have that bilateral agreement, it is now left for the government of Finland to use that discretion to agree whether they should send the person to you or not.
Okay, let's see if we have our Zoom guest ready. Joining us via Zoom for more discussion. Okay, we need to go on this. We need to go on this quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. It's still Journalist Hangout, still talking about this matter of extradition. The matter of Burujika, the late Burujika Shamu's case now comes to remembrance here. What are your thoughts on it?
You see,
in relation to this.
Like you said earlier, extradition process is a very complex and tricky thing. Yes. There are people, especially DEA in America, they've been here and they've taken some people to America. It has happened severally. But in most cases, it's a very complex thing. For example, the Burujika Shamu. Burujika Shamu was accused by some courts in Illinois that he was involved in drug allegations and all that. And he came up with the explanation that it was mistaken identity. So that particular court, there was somebody there was a lady that was jailed who gave a lot of things. So a benchmark was usual that he should be arrested.
Yes.
And it was being on for a long time. So that's why he could not travel to America and all that. But eventually, DEA people came in and wanted to take him. They've agreed with officials of the Nigerian government. Yes. But Burujika Shamu went to court and told them that it is illegal. What they wanted to do is illegal. And the court agreed with him that he cannot be extradited. They were already here. In fact, when they wanted to arrest him, he had to lock himself up in his bedroom.
I remember.
In his bedroom. And he refused, he insisted that he was not going to leave that bedroom. So there was a standoff. And subsequently they went to court. And the court ruled that NDLA cannot arrest, extradite him, give him up for extradition and all that. So it's a very complex thing. It's not only enough for you to be accused of something. It's not only enough for you to adduce evidence.
Yes.
Indicting the person so accused. There are a lot of other things involved when it comes to extradition. It's a very tricky thing.
It's a very tricky thing.
You have to look at that because Buju Kashamu has been, there was a court thing. They've been on for a long time. It's been saying it's not true and all that, and they've been going back and forth until when the American government now asked for his extradition from officials of the state here, and I think the Attorney General there, I can't pick his name now, agreed with them. So all the papers were signed without him knowing.
Okay.
So officials of the drug industry in America came in, and they wanted to take him. And the only thing that saved
They
him
even took over his streets.
Yeah, the only thing that saved him was because he was at home when they came.
And he locked himself in there.
Himself up and refused to come out from that room. And it was a bulletproof door, so there's no way.
There was no way to get entrance.
So there was that standoff. For a long time, he was only in his bedroom, calling his lawyers and all that. So eventually, I think it was a weekend. So the following Monday, they went to court and they were able to get an order restraining NDLA from
All right, I think it's a fine place for us to leave it. Let's move straight to
ende bang kwadalu linne nukunu si Venezuela kifiwe de ki kubasta maka ya bifenda iwete runo no basinketa ono no koside ono no kosiada kefiwe le kuno denke giyo only action basta maka yenda nini no nero akwụkwọ akọwagase dị iche iche ngwadalu linne no kebesiano